Hey, good morning, Tim and Erica. I hope y'all are doing wonderful. I hope you were home safe and sound and your trip was fantastic. I wanted to kind of give you an update of what's going on in the marketplace and with your property specifically. Of course, I know you've seen a lot of stuff, I'm sure, on what's going on in the real estate market. This is, of course, not a solicitation to sell because I know you're not going anywhere. I just like to give you an update, kind of keep you abreast of what's going on in the marketplace out there. Um, and that being said, so what I do is I pull four different reports and I kind of look at them differently and then sort of give a suggestion of where I think you fall into that. And I'll show you those, and I'm also going to send you the report. So three of them will be attached to the email that this video came in, and then one comes in a separate email from our internal intranet, and it's an interactive MLS or an interactive comparable report. So, I mean, obviously interest rates have gone up a good bit. They're between 5 and 6, but historically, normal interest rates run between 6 and 8%. I'm sure you guys have probably seen that in the past as well. So we're actually in a very healthy real estate market right now. The supply has begun to increase a little bit. You know, buyers are able to buy again. It's still a seller's market. They're still selling in less than what we call a normal market. A normal market being like it's 6 months to sell a property. Homes are still selling, 30 to 45 days. Still very, very strong. Sellers are still commanding a good bit of money for their properties. Prices are still increasing. They're just not going, like straight up like they were for the last 2 years. They're more at more of a normal pace now, which is really a very healthy indicator for the marketplace as a whole and as we go forward, because it's not going to get super inflated and see a super huge crash. So we really like that. That's very good and very healthy for the marketplace. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the separate reports. And like I said, I'm going to send all of those to you so you have them. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. I'm always here to help you with anything you need. You know that. You're my friends, and I'm looking forward to you. I think I see you on like Friday or something. I have to look at my calendar. I can't keep up with anything. Anyway, so let me flip into this data real quick and share it with you and let you see what for yourself. So this is what we call the real list report, and this is on the backside of our MLS, and it basically pulls a bunch of data about your property and gives it to me as a real estate agent as a starting point on anything that I look at. You can see up here, it's got all of on the top, it's got all the information about your property. The size, what you bought it for. You bought it in 2021, 3,777 square feet. That does not include the garage, but that's your heated square footage. It has your information, all of that stuff, your tax ID. It also tells us a little bit about the taxes. I don't know if that's accurate or not, because sometimes it does not pull in both city and county, but you would be able to check that one and make sure it's correct. This is just further more detailed information. And like I said, I'm including this report in the email that I'm sending you, so you'll have it as well. Now, what I really like to look at this report for first, though, is this right here, the real AVM. And the real AVM is a computer-generated model of what does the MLS system think that your property is worth. Somewhat like a Zestimate, but a little bit more accurate. And it also gives you the confidence score. So this tells us, okay, they feel like they're 83% confident that this is right. So they feel fairly confident. I love that number to be between like an 85 and a 95. 85 and 95 tells me, man, we are pretty darn confident this is exactly what this property is worth. But it gives you sort of their ballpark, 1,571, and then a range here. And of course, that range has a standard deviation of 10, as you can see. But this is the first place that I start when I start looking at the prices. And I know I flipped some of this data back to you a couple of weeks ago or months ago. So this may be remedial stuff. The next thing I do is I go and I look at the MLS and I pull properties that are within a mile of yours, a similar size, similar square footage, and similar style. Obviously, these here, these are like your old place right here. That one's like your old place. These are outside of your place, so they really aren't comparables. This one here expired, so we don't really look at expires. And then these, of course, are way outside your place. So these are the meat and potatoes, really, of what we looked at. Some of them are, well, actually, all of these are older than yours, so take that into consideration. The closest one really to yours is right here. So that's kind of a big consideration for us when we're looking at, okay, what do we think this property is worth today? Because what we do is we come in here and we make what's called a Moxie Present report. And in the Moxie Present, we sort of determine what we think the value is of the property and give you the numbers from there. Let's see here. I'm going to flip to that in just a second. Sorry, I had to open this next screen. And we're going to go back to that. The Moxie report is a report that we use That's basically interactive. And I'm going to show you that one in just a second. But first, I want to show you the facts and trends report. The facts and trends report is a full data report that we pull from, as you can see, all the information is what I plugged in up here. We pull it from your zip code specifically. I can't get it to highlight now. Of course, I can't get it to highlight. Anyway, it's right here at the top. You can kind of see my thing highlighting there. The data that we use is right here at the top. We use your zip code specifically, properties that are priced somewhat similar to yours within a square footage range of 25%. This is also the same criteria I used in the MLS pull. Bedrooms between 3 and 5, 0 and 1/2 baths, full baths 3 and 5, because we find some that fall in all of those things. You have 4 and the 1/2 baths. So this gives us a good idea of, okay, what's going on in the overall market in the 30309 zip code. And as you can see, there has not been much that's come on the market. When it comes on the market, it does sell pretty quickly. Where you can see they're on the market for like a day. So, and there's been nothing that's been on the market at all really in your price point, which is good because that means there's not a whole lot available to people who want to buy in your area at that price. So that's another sign the market is just super, super healthy. And this goes back to June of 2021 in the data. You can see that up there. And like I say, I'm attaching this in the email that this video is in. The next page that I like to look at is the average days on market. And you can see pretty much there's not been anything on the market. There was that one that sat for a long time. That was this one here. There was obviously one on the market. You see that sat for a very long period of time. And then it finally sold. Okay, that one took 130 days. But since that time, nothing on the market, nothing on the market, nothing on the market. We see that here, nothing on the market, nothing on the market. And then bam, came on the market and sold in 5 days. Bam, came on the market and sold 3 days. So that's really, really good that at that price point, they're selling that quickly, because that's normally a fairly harder price point to sell. So that's a really strong indicator of the value and, of course, the location of where your property is. The last one I like to look at is, okay, what inventory is out there? And you can see there isn't any. There's no inventory out there at all. So for people selling in your price point right now, they're able to sell their property, and that's why it's showing that really, really fast sell price, because, oh my God, if something comes available, people are snatching it right up because there is nothing available. All right, that being said, I'm going to flip over here to this report, and I'm going to send you this report separately. This comes from our internal system, but this is an interactive report that you can look at the pictures and all that kind of fun stuff. And this is, of course, from when your property was listed with the builder. We take the data from all of that to pull in these reports because they don't have updated pictures. But this tells us about your property. Some information about it, when it was built, the property, schools, the property tax. That was in 2019. Obviously, it's gone up way up since then. And then the next page pulls into the comparable properties. And you can literally come in here. You can see where they are on the map relative to yours. Here you are in the blue square or the blue star. Here's these two. And then there was this one right over here. This one is not quite as credible, I would say, but it's still something that we consider because it's not too far away. And basically, you can look at these reports and look at them specifically. You can see what they were listed for, what did they sell for, what was the sale price, what was it per square footage, those kind of things, and what is the taxes. But you can also see the year built. This one is older than yours. So while it has some very similar finishes to yours, and you can flip through the photos, like I say, this way, you can look at these things. It's a little bit more dated than yours. It's not quite as updated as yours. And so it's not going to command quite as much money as yours does. But you can see very similar. The kitchen's pretty much exactly the same layout, just decorated differently and that kind of stuff. So just kind of give you a little feel for how that one looks right there. That 4516 is actually the same as yours because you have that downstairs room. And then you also have the garage. They just put it all in there. So this one is a really, really good comparable, except that it's older than yours. Okay. Another one that I really liked was this one here. Same deal, though. It is older than yours. Similar. It's a little bit more dated. Yours is a little bit nicer. And of course, it is newer. So this one sold for 1.4 just a few months ago. And let's see, I was looking for something here. It was the year built in 2018. So it's a little bit older than yours. So it's not, it's not going to sell for as much as what yours would sell for. All right. Next thing that we love to look at is the listing overview. And these are just those 3 comparables. And always you can click on this thing here, flip through the photographs by clicking left, right, and then you can close it out with the X up there on the top corner. The next thing is the side by side. So basically we stack them side by side so you can look at the details very, very specifically. Yours shows 3777, but it's really more about 4,500 when you can consider all of the square footage that's finished in the basement. This one here, I think, did have an unfinished basement, if I recall correctly. But this just kind of gives you a side-by-side comparison of those. Like I said, these pull from the MLS reports, and this is basically what they wrote on their MLS report the last time versus this one, which your builder wrote on your MLS report. So that's the difference, is that 700 square feet that you have in the downstairs bedroom. Now, so I like to flip on next to this is just the status comparisons. These are the 3 that sold. There's nothing that's active. We saw that one already, and you can kind of see all of the data on that one. Then I love the home averages. That's one of my favorite places to look to get some credibility. You've got one that sold at 1,476, but remember that one was 2018. It's the same size as yours. Finishes are a little bit more dated, but it's 2018. The one that resold next door to you is not showing. I think it's too far back now at this point, because we don't like to go too far back, because what happens is, like, for example, the first part of this year, from January to April, it was bonkers, and people were offering like $50,000 and $100,000 over list price and multiple offers. And it was just going crazy. And then it's now changed a little bit and leveled out. So what data from January to April is probably not as reflective of the market as we see today. So I don't like to go back too terribly far on those. Now here's a scattergram, just kind of talks about price and days on market. Really, there's not a whole lot of flexibility, but this is that one that's down the hill. So it was on the market a lot longer than these 2 that are in your complex. Yours sold, bam, just like that. So that is really, really good and bodes very well for you guys. Here's just, price versus size. You can kind of see, it obviously gets more expensive as you get up on the square footage. This one is very, very similar to yours, but again, built in 2018. So in short, what I really think your value is on your property right now is somewhere right about $1,550,000. I'm not looking at this one very heavily because it's counting it as 3,777 square feet. I do consider this one somewhat, but all of those comparables were like 2017, 2018. So not as new and not as in good a shape as yours, and doesn't have the finishes that yours has. So like I say, I'm going to share that report with you. It comes in a separate email. There will be 3 reports attached to the email that this video came in, and I hope this is some good information for you. I mean, you've done really well. You bought it just for 1.3 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, and now you're already up to 1.55, which is fantastic. I'm very happy about that. And if you have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, I will see you. I think it's Friday night. Have a good day. Bye.